I'm James Ernest, and today we're playing the Fractured Flat. The Fractured Flat is a super simple two-player abstract game, and this isn't really even the final art. It's good enough to play with, and so I'm going to demo the game for you. Each player has 16 stones, but one of those stones goes on the board for the first player, and this is the scoring track. It's kind of a tug-of-war scoring track. When you make points, you move the marker towards yourself. The game can end either when one player is out of stones or when this scoring marker goes off the end of the scoring track. On your turn, you have two options. You can place a new piece on the board, or you can move a piece that you have on the board. And each one of those is pretty restricted, but let's talk about each one. To place a piece, the zone you're going into has to be open. And at the beginning, only the size 2 zones are open. And when I say size 2, I mean the ones that only have 2 edges in common with other spaces. So these are all triangles around the outside, obviously, but they have one edge that points off into nowhere, so they're 2s. And they're all the purple spaces. So purple spaces are open at the beginning of the game. Everything else is closed. The only place that red can drop a dot is in a purple space. And at the beginning, you get a point just for covering a city. You only get a point for covering a city. So red could drop in a city space, red could drop in an empty space. You're going to drop in this space, cover that city, and score 1 point. So red being on this side of the board, we're going to move that scoring marker 1 point towards red. Yellow's in a similar circumstance. Again, only the purple spaces are open, and you would like to place next to an opponent's piece because that also gets you points, but red has played in an isolated spot. So yellow is going to start in one of the other cities. She's going to start here and also get a point, which brings the score back to 0. So I talked about placement. Let's talk about movement. Just to illustrate, you can move from a space you occupy into a space that is 1 count bigger. So from a 2, red could move his piece into a size 3. He could move this piece to here. He would get no points for that. The points you get are 1 for the city, if there is one, and then 1 point for every adjacent space that's owned by your opponent. So that's going to be a 0-point move, but the effect of it is to open up those yellow spaces for red. So he might actually go ahead and do that. It opens up a quick scoring move for yellow, so there's a trade-off there, but you can place in regions as long as you already occupy one of those regions. When red opens up the 3s, red can now drop in all of the 3s. So red's going to do that and score 0 points, and white will follow in behind him. White now gets a point for dropping in this space because it has a city, and another point because it's next to one of red's pieces. So white's going to take 2 points for that move. Red is going to place in the space that he has opened up. He's going to drop in this 3. The orange triangles are the size 3s. And with that, he's just going to get 1 point for that city. Now, yellow would love to go next to red here and get a bunch of points, but yellow hasn't opened up any bigger spaces yet. Yellow just needs to keep populating little ones or start moving. Yellow's going to go here and just get that 1 point. Red can place in this 3 area because red's got 3s unlocked, so he's going to drop here and get a point. Yellow thinks that she really needs to start moving into those bigger spaces, and so, you know, the problem with starting in a city is when you move out of a city, you just open it up for your opponent, but she's going to do that anyway. She's going to move from here to here, get 0 points, and just open up those 3s for yellow. Red will come in behind her and get 2 points for that, so that's the result of that move. Yellow now could actually move all the way into a green space, a size 4 space. She moves here and gets a point. And this is interesting because having evacuated the 3 size spaces, yellow can no longer place in 3s, but she can place in 4s, and that's a big deal. Red's going to move defensively, actually. He's going to move from this 3 to this 4 and score a point, and that keeps yellow from dropping there next to him. And again, yellow doesn't own any 3s right now, so you also, when you move, you have to go up by 1 level, so she can't just move from this 4 to this 3. She's going to have to get something else onto a 3. And as before, she's going to move off a city to do it. She goes from here to here, gets 0 points, and opens up this city for red to drop into again, and red will do just that. Drops here, gets a point for the city and a point for being next to yellow. That's a total of 2. Yellow can now make a pretty strong move because she's opened up the orange spaces for herself. She's in the 3s. she can drop on this city here and get herself 1 point for the city and 2 points for the neighboring spaces. Lo and behold, we're back to a score of 0 again. Because red has opened up the 4s, he's going to start populating those 4s. He can drop here and get a point. And he's thinking about moving up into the 5s as well. Yellow already controls green spaces, so she can drop here and get 2 points. 1 for the city and 1 for the red piece next door. So red now wants to get control of the 5s. He's going to move from here to here. He's going to get a point for the city, and he's going to get a point for the neighbors, so that's that. Yellow can drop in this green and get 2 points. Red can drop in this blue and get 2 points. The center space is the only size 6 space. Of course, you can move into it from any of the adjacent 5s. Yellow cannot just move into it from this adjacent 4. Yellow can drop here for 2 points. Red can drop here for a point. And yellow really has her eyes on that center space, that fractured flat space in the center, that size 6. It's going to be worth a lot of points if she can get there, but she cannot drop on that 6. She's got to move in, and she needs to occupy one of those neighboring 5s. She's not on any of the neighboring 5s just yet, but if she moves here, she'll be on one. That gets her 1 point because it's next to a red space. Unfortunately, though, that does let red just move into the center. So red's going to go here, get a point for each yellow and a point for the center space. 1, 2, 3. So the game is over when either player runs out of stones or when the scoring marker moves all the way off the track. And of course, for a fair game, you want to alternate who goes first and keep a running score over 2 games. That's the Fractured Flat. I'm James Ernest from Crab Fragment Labs. I hope you enjoy this game and all the other ones we have at Crab Fragment Labs, and I will see you at the table. Crab Fragment Labs is sort of my experimental game design studio. It's where I put games like the Fractured Flat, which I basically couldn't sell to a publisher even if I wanted to. There's not much here. There's a board to print, and you need to scavenge some pieces from a game you already own. If you like what we're doing, you can support us on Patreon for $5 or more a month. You can also just help us by subscribing to us on YouTube, clicking like and leaving a comment, and most importantly, downloading our games and playing them with your friends. We hope you'll share the excitement and fun of these free offerings from Crab Fragment Labs. I hope you'll enjoy everything we've got up there. I'm James Ernest, and I will see you at the table.